Good morning, Hallowed Haven family. This is After Dawn, the show where we sit down to have a cup of coffee with the cast, crew, and creators behind the Hallowed Haven Studios productions. I'm Sol, and I'm joined by my co-host, Vironz.
Why, yes, hello, I'm Vironz, and today we are talking about Hunter Wayfarer Season 2, Episode 8. This episode, we got to see Rosanna hook up with Quiet, a poor disposal of corpse by the crew, a failure to use a coupon at a grocery store, and, luckily, there was no murder this episode. To me, this episode was very funny. There was more than a few moments where I was laughing my ass off. It was great. But then at the very end, it got incredibly tense. But my opinion is not the only one here. What are your thoughts, Saul?
Much the same as yours. I definitely think that it was kind of fun to see the episode start off so light and jovial and just kind of relaxing, and then just for everything to turn on a dime the moment that the actual plan was going to be put into motion. But my opinions, even as one who was actually there, are also not the only ones that matter. We are joined by several people. Today we're joined by Scott and Legacy and Clearly Golden. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Sorry, coupon. The coupon bit. You caught me off guard with that because I completely forgot about Gary's coupon bit. It was hilarious.
It was like one of the best parts of the episode. We had to include it.
Honestly.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So first off, welcome back, everyone. Happy to have you. So for those who were there, and actually, Clearly Golden can throw in.
I was gonna say, you can just switch to Clara. It's not a secret. That's actually.
We'll go with Clara then.
Yeah, Clara's a lot easier to say here.
So everyone, what did you all feel about the meeting with Vincent Pendleton?
Well, I think it went as well as Isabel wanted it to go. Did it go as well as Arthur wanted to go? No, it did not. But you know, we got to let Saul have his character, you know, for maybe something else, you know, not to have a canonical death scene. So I don't know, it was fun.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I think that the fact that we actually were able to pull in, because Vincent is a canon character from another show that we ran, the first show that we ran at in HHS. So getting a bit of a flashback to a project that we had in the past come up and be mentioned, and get to have some of that when worlds collide drama kind of pull in. That was really interesting. From Rosanna's perspective, the meeting went better than she had expected. She was getting ready for a fight to break out, and while I'm sure that Arthur and Piper wanted a fight to break out, Rosanna's in the mindset of, I want to figure this out with talking before we resort to violence, but if we have to go to violence, then we have to go to violence. So
makes sense. And Clara, what are your thoughts?
I mean, just as an observer who doesn't have as much stake in I basically audience surrogate now. You ever part of me is like, yes, I want to see this happen, and the rest of me is like, Isabel, you're a dumbass, and it's fine and normal. But I don't know, it's fun to watch players. What's the word I'm looking for? Make the choice that their characters should make, rather than the choice that would be a better for gaming, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Very fair. Scott, Legacy, when you first made your characters for Wayfarer, did you ever expect you'd have a direct confrontation with other characters from earlier projects?
I mean, so are you asking us, do we recognize that we exist in a Hallowed Haven Studios show? I believe that we did, but no, did I expect that? No, I didn't, but I also recognized that it was told to me, I think, right, because Wayfarer was the first big project I got involved in with Hallowed Haven. BP mentioned that some of the shows exist in the same universe, and so I was aware that there was a potentiality for like I suddenly can't think of the word, but like an overlap between some people and some storylines in some of the other shows. But Legacy, on the other hand, has way more knowledge about that stuff than I do. But I had an idea that we were coexisting at least in the same universe as Chicago and the other Hunter show that I suddenly can't remember.
Yeah. So yeah, when BP and I were first fleshing out the world in which we were going to build, we had made the mutual agreement, because at the time it was the two of us and a third party who were going to be running different shows that kind of shared a location. So it was agreed upon that at specific points, the possibility of our shows having some overlap in what happens, or specific events that happen in one show affecting the events that happen in another show. So when she told me that she might end up using some of the SPCs or the characters from the two shows that I ran, which were the first, which was Chicago Reborn and Hunter the Reckoning's Hell Cell. She told me that she might pick and poke from some of the SPCs or whatnot. So I kind of had an idea of we might come across one or two of these people. I was just very pleasantly surprised that it was Vincent, and there is one episode in Wayfarer where she's explaining what this guy looks like, and you can see clear as day on my face that I knew exactly who she was talking about.
I was there. I saw it.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was fun to watch.
Crossover. That was the word I couldn't think of. Crossover.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the crossover was a lot of fun.
All right. So, Clara, we have a question for you about how you play our tabletop RPGs. How do you get in the headspace of the character whenever you go to sit down and actually play through an RPG session?
I feel like I have a very boring answer, which is playlists. Like, music is a really good way to start. Katy Lynn, because she's an SPC, so like she wasn't something I built myself. Doesn't have a playlist, but like even now there's like music that I'll like play for her. The I guess inside baseball thing is I go most of the time, like just the way my schedule has worked out, I play like one character for like a home game, and with scheduling these last few weeks have been I play a home game, I have an hour to get home, and then I do like the All Might Society, which is like a very different character. And then like right after that, I'll come into something like Hallowed Haven and have to play someone else. And so like there's a lot of whiplash. So music is the fastest way to get into that. But on my hour, like if I have like an hour between stuff, I haven't not had arguments in character with myself the way you do when you're like practicing getting in an argument like a real person. Is that just me, or is that my anxiety?
No. That I do that.
Yep.
I have done. This whole last like 2 weeks, I've been doing that with Arthur and some of the other characters in his head, just in my head. Yeah.
Katy Lynn and Arthur have had so many arguments in my head already.
Oh, okay, good to know. Same page.
Perfect.
So, I mean, you kind of already touched on it already, but as the original showrunner legacy for the Chronicle where Vincent was made, how did it feel actually having to face him this time, though?
I believe I've actually made the joke to Solomon on on a couple of occasions, it's gonna suck that your creator's gonna have to destroy you.
Yeah.
But seeing that piece of work that, Chicago Reborn was kind of something that I had come up with on a whim, because another studio originally was going to use that podcast before we had created Hallowed Haven Studios, and when we had separated from that other studio, I was not sure about what the fate of Reborn was going to be like. So the fact that it did so much to the canon world, where we got to bring in Vincent, that was like my project that I still often think about to this day, is sorry.
You're good.
Clara just distracted me for a second.
Sorry.
No, but getting a chance to see something that that was a story of mine that I got to tell, like, come and almost potentially screw me as a player, was both interesting to watch and see how he's developed since the end of that story, and a bit frightening. You I don't know if this goes for everybody who's run a story, but you never want to see something that you work so hard to like help create potentially be destroyed like right in front of you. So there was like a little bit of panic in me, just being like, this is going to suck if we have to kill this character off, but it's going to be so good at the same time if we have to kill this character off.
If I may interject on my thoughts, as a fan of the show, like originally watching Chicago, I was like, it was fun for me to have like this character appear as a fan, right? But then I was also like on the thought process of like, could Arthur take Vincent? Kind of want to see, but I kind of want it not to be like a fan fiction rather than like a canonical thing. Because
nothing is stopping you from writing that fan fiction.
But see, I would need Solomon's input, because that's how I would write. Like, I don't like writing over other people's characters. I'm like weird with fan fiction. Like I can write fan fiction, but when it comes to like something where I know someone else, when I know the person who's written it, like I like to work with them, which I've done before in some writing groups. So it would have to be that. I wouldn't want to actually do it on the show. So I was like, well, I guess we'll see. But I'm a fan of Vincent, so
so what you mean to tell me is Scott wants to write Arthur and Vincent fanfic?
Ooh,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Spicy.
Our listeners can pay for it. No,
we got Patreon.
Yeah,
it's higher tier.
Yeah, it's the $15 plus tier.
15. You're selling yourself short there, Saul.
I mean, I was trying to hype up your writing ability.
I'm saying that I think you and I could write something pretty spicy.
Possible.
That's for the HHS only fans, actually. That's not Patreon content.
After dark, not after dawn.
Yeah, after dusk.
After a drink, am I right?
So this is all finding normal.
This is giving me a weird deja vu from my recording with Alric, by the way.
I wonder why.
I'm so not.
I was going to say, Alaric's not even here. We're all getting after dark.
Oh my god.
Anyway, we're gonna move on.
We're not the hosts.
Yeah, time to flee from that entire little bit.
Now we're gonna start drinking from our coffee cups.
Yeah, coffee, quote unquote.
This coffee tastes like whiskey.
Y'all got coffee?
Tastes like rubbing alcohol. Anyway, so What were Arthur and Rosanna hoping to get out of the meeting with Vincent? We generally know what Isabel was wanting. What about you two?
I will let Legacy field this one first.
Oh boy.
Fuck yeah. Here's the thing, right? Rosanna in that interaction, she didn't have a whole lot to gain or I mean, she could lose her life. So I can't say that she didn't have anything to really lose, but she was there as more of a support system. Her friend had gone through basically hell for like the last like couple of days, so she really just wanted a resolution for Isabel. And her specialty isn't vampires. Her specialty are ghosts and wraiths and stuff like that. So getting to interact with another vampire up close, especially in that regard, piques her curiosity. So if we had more time, she had a list of questions she wanted to ask Vincent. But we didn't have an extra like 40 minutes to spend on just the curious scratching that itch. So ultimately she was there for her friend, but now she's just got a shit ton of unanswered questions. Now some about that pinky.
So Arthur did a whole lot of reading on vampires right before the meeting so that he could kill Vincent better. Seriously, he took the repel the unnatural specialization versus vampires. I did that right before that meeting. So that death, blood, and destruction would be less of a thing. But yeah, his expectation was that there was going to be some discussion because Isabel kept saying that she wanted him alive. So he thought like that best case scenario, they were going to capture Vincent. But then it turned into something else entirely. And it was no capture, no question. It was just talk to him for a little bit and then let him go. Catch and release, but not even catch and release, just release. So his expectations were death, destruction, or at like minimum, remove a threat from the world and put it in a locked safe somewhere.
At least the dust.
Just put Vincent in a box. It'll be fine. Yeah.
Exactly.
In a fun box.
Torpor's a thing, right?
Yeah.
So that was the expectation that Arthur had. So when it didn't go that way, that is the exact reason why Arthur was so angry at the end of the episode.
Yeah, that sounds about right. On the plus side for what Rosanna was wanting, now, Isabel has a connection, I'm sure, and I'm pretty sure that Rosanna could ask things.
Oh, I will say that the fun bit of Vincent doing magic stuff right in front of them, I specifically pinged BP because one of the side things of Arthur is that he keeps an occult journal, and it was like he starts talking in Latin, and it's like weird because Arthur has Latin as a language that he knows. So I was like, BP, can Arthur just start taking notes on this spell so that he can study it later? And she was like, sure. So now Arthur has more knowledge. More knowledge. Mwah.
No, my secrets.
Arthur becomes a mage or Arthur becomes Tremere.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that'd be horrible.
He would have to become a blank body.
I did not have that on my bingo card.
Yeah. I mean, there was already Gunshop already hinted that that Arthur was basically the same as a Celestial Chorus, and so now it's just leading him farther in that direction.
Yeah.
No.
Now, Clara, what do you think Katy Lynn's reaction would be if she learned what her husband has been up to?
Oh man,
Oh, no.
Genuinely good question because that's all those arguments I've been having with myself.
Yep, same here.
Okay, well, both of you feel it then.
I don't want to answer because I'm scared I'm gonna like spoil stuff that like might be coming down the pike because we hopefully are gonna have a conversation. If not,
I guess it just
Ooh.
depends on your availability, isn't it?
Oh, fuck off.
No, just kidding.
It's funny because it's true.
It's I mean, not to step on Clara in any way, but that is actually something that, not trying to spoil anything, but that is one of the things that I have on a list, is like whether or not Arthur talks to her about what's going on.
It is like, it's so funny because I have access to Arthur's journal, so I can see what the fuck is going on in his brain. And in the conversations that have been happening kind of behind the scenes, as we're like, well, what happens if this happens? How do we fuck with Arthur more? The normal things that people talk about.
Normal things,
Yeah.
Within that, there's that, like, if that conversation happens, how does it go?
Okay.
And like, I don't want to spoil it. Like, the answer is like, I'm excited because if that conversation happens, I'm excited. If that conversation doesn't happen, I'm excited. fun thing. The answer is fun things, and Arthur's going to have a hard time.
Clara, funny that you say that. I also have a journal of how am I going to make Arthur cry this week.
Yay.
Yeah.
Actual requirement to be a female in that game.
Yeah.
I feel terrible. I truly have felt like Scott can attest to this. I messaged Scott like, "Are you good, man?"
Yeah, it's been rough being Arthur, honestly. But it's actually, like I said in the general chat, it's actually just really cool because I've like legitimately never had a character that I've thought so much about between game sessions than I have with Arthur. Like sometimes I would do like little fan fiction-y type story things of stuff that the character might do in downtime, and like just kind of be like, yeah, they did this thing, and talk to my game master. But never have I been like pacing around while walking my dogs thinking about, man, this character, how do I decisions and stuff? Like, I've been the most concerned about a character ever with Arthur.
Season 2 is just Wayfarer, the Hunter the Reckoning Chronicle. Arthur deals with the consequences of the actions he makes.
It really is. Season 2 of Wayfarer ending up being Arthur in therapy.
Yeah.
See, the season finale is just gonna be Arthur goes and speaks with the therapist.
Oh, that'll never happen.
No.
Hunter seeking therapy? Nah.
That's what punching things is for.
Yeah, especially not Arthur. Therapists. Quanks, more like it.
I feel so bad because I'm here just like, Arthur, we're trying.
Arthur's just like, I just need to thump my Bible harder.
His occult journal? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, his not Bible.
It's not even a Bible.
His Nibble, as one would call it.
Nibble.
Oh. So how was it using the desperation dice this time, Legacy? And then just having it backfire?
Fucking hate the desperation dice.
I swear they hate us. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Don't worry. Episode 10, it's all gonna come together. I'm gonna actually, here's the thing, is I actually hid Zephyr's body just back in the bus. I'm gonna use as my weapon for episode 10. Thank you.
The body?
Yeah.
We dumped it, just not very well.
I have so many follow-up questions.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Oh.
All I'm saying is if we pull up to a Denny's at some point and we just see Zephyr's body, I'm not going to be surprised.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Someone's just weekend the burnings at Bernie's with Zephyr's body.
Oh no.
I'm legitimately concerned about desperation dice for our last episode, though. I'm worried they're going to try to screw us over once again. The dice clearly want to tell a story.
Well, I mean, you're on danger level 8 now.
What's up?
Yeah,
you're at danger level 8 now.
No. I lost my ability to use my desperation dice.
She chose to go into despair so that we didn't push the danger up. Somehow
everyone's going to be in despair at the end of the season.
That's exactly what I'm worried about.
If we're doing our job right, they will.
I mean, that's sort of the upside to the fact that we haven't really fought anything, is that Arthur hasn't used his desperation dice, but I'm pretty sure that that's how it's going to play out, because that's the story the desperation dice want to tell.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, but the desperation dice, it's an interesting mechanic, right? Because they want to give you a way to get like bonuses and buffs onto your rolls. But oh boy, if you roll a 1, you got to make some decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Has BP ever killed one of y'all in game?
Mentally.
No, yeah, mentally yes, physically no. She likes being our cheerleaders and likes watching us do things.
Mm-hmm.
So killing is not so fun for that particular thing. But I do think that she said something like, if you walk yourself into that, I'll have no choice.
Yeah. One of my favorite things that BP said to me is like, she is our biggest cheerleader, but she's also like our biggest enemy.
Mhm.
Oh, for sure. That's a GM thing to me. Is like
Yeah.
a good storyteller, a good GM is a fan of the characters, but like being a fan of them means you don't want them to always. You want to tell a good story with them, not like see them succeed constantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I feel like if you're constantly succeeding, that just takes away from like the intrigue of like you aren't playing like but ultimately like our cell aren't superheroes. Like we're not whether or not we're the good guys is even like a morally like gray question, right? Like because all of our characters have done some not so great things to kind of like justification for their cause.
Mhm.
So the way that a story is told is like you don't want to be good. You don't want to be the good guys and be good at everything and always succeed, because then that's boring. If I wanted that, I'd go pay to see that in like a movie theater.
But even then, that's a boring ass movie. Is like once upon a time there was a person who was good at what they did, and then they did it. Like
The end.
No, I mean there is that. So Chronicle Tenants maybe could play into that. If someone wanted to have a hunter game where they were all good guys and they did good things always, maybe. But ours is like, I think one of them is the ends justify the means. One of ours, I can't remember.
Yeah.
So like doing the bad thing to inevitably do the overall good for more people is essentially how our characters roll.
Yeah, like that conversation that Arthur and Rosanna had, like in my mind, Rosanna felt like she was kind of manipulating that situation the entire time with Arthur because she didn't want to get an innocent person involved, and so instead of just letting him have that, she's just like, yeah, but are you sure?
Yeah,
Sure, you
rip
want
out his
that?
heart, stomp it a few times. It's fine.
Oh, well, it's either she manipulates him into seeing her point of view, or he doesn't and she dies.
Fair.
So that was a question about the desperation dice. I am
yes,
sorry.
it was.
It sure was.
That was the answer.
I have ADHD. That's the answer to the desperation dice
It's all
question.
right. It's
I'm
clear
so
that we're
sorry.
sharing some tea across the table already. It's fine.
Yeah, we like it. It's good.
So, speaking of the desperation dice, hey Scott, do you think they're gonna bite you in the ass as well? Because they seem to be going for everyone. You have a not. I believe. Have you rolled desperation dice this season? I forget if you have yet.
Nope.
Yeah, I
So
think that's gonna happen.
Arthur's specific place where he can roll desperation dice is when he's in direct confrontation with a supernatural. And aside from our meeting with Vincent, we haven't really had that opportunity yet in the season. Unless he decided to throw down against the speaker during the time we met the speaker, that's when he would have been able to use it. But otherwise, we haven't had that opportunity. So as I mentioned just a moment ago, yeah, I absolutely think they're going to screw me. Like, absolutely think they're going to. Because to be fair, in the last season, they screwed me a little bit, but then we just rolled badly for the rest of the season. And then in the season finale, they absolutely were like, we want you to win this. And I rolled with like 14 dice, I rolled 13 successes. Right? Like, it was crazy. And the desperation dice played a factor. And I think one of the criticals was a desperation die. And so I feel like this season, it's been like, well, we did so well for you last season. We're just going to screw you all now.
We're just gonna stab you in the kidneys.
Yep. And so, yeah, I absolutely think that I'm going to have to use them in the season finale, and then they're going to try to shut me down.
Fair enough. Do you think that the failure to properly dispose of Zephyr's body is going to come to bite you as well? What do you think could happen from that?
No, not at all. No, that'll be fine. You know.
You're so confident.
I'm not gonna say anything.
No, I mean, yeah. Let's not jinx it. No, but no, I think we did a really bad job, and I think that BP is a good storyteller.
You know, when the GM like goes, "Oh, okay," and then like writes something down.
Yep.
Going to make a note.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I feel happened right there.
No, nobody here who's at this current table has ever had to witness me do that before. Nope.
Never.
Yeah, no, I think I'm not sure what BP's going to do with that, but she absolutely is going to use that. Absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
Yep. And that was again the dice telling a story.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does Katy Lynn think of the cell as a whole now that she's actually seen and met them all?
Ooh.
Forgot I had push talk on. Hey, what do you think of the rest of the crew? Says only nice things. Who's is it Isabel's friend who's always like, your weird unemployed friends?
Yeah.
Yep.
It does hit that vibe is very strong. I'm like, oh, okay, you're just like hanging out with some weirdos. Got it.
Some weirdos in an RV.
Yeah, like what kind of people decide that they're going to travel the country in an RV doing God knows what, dangerous God knows what, right?
Yeah.
Like there's definitely a lot of like, so you left very suddenly and you showed up again with like these like with these people. Doesn't inspire a ton of confidence, to be quite honest. Also, like one of them's, well, I mean, they're all hot because it's, you know, a tabletop game, but it is the like, also, you've definitely been fucking one of them, or at least want to.
Oof.
So there's like, there's a lot to unpack. But like, we've sort of established Katy Lynn is like a nice, at least I'm trying, she's pretty fucking nice. So there's this level of like, I'll hear you out, but I do have eyes.
There's a giant butt at the end of this hear you out.
Yeah. And like we've established it. She just wants to know.
And the actual butt too, you know. Just like
and the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so hard not to like spoil things.
Yeah.
Now, Legacy. The introduction of quiet. Does that put any stress on Rosanna and Arthur's relationship?
I feel like that's more of a question for Scott.
Why would it be a question for a character who doesn't know anything about it?
Very true, very true. Well, yes and no, right? Rosanna's mindset is she doesn't want anybody who doesn't have to get involved to be involved. So the introduction of Quiet as an SPC and like somebody who's now attached to Rosanna's story is this guy intrigues her on a few different levels. Where we won't get into those levels quite yet. I don't know what that was for.
Yeah, that was a pretty strong.
Trying to keep it after dawn, not after dark. It's fine.
Yeah, listen. Patreon viewers gotta pay $25 to hear my situation. No, but I think that it's an interesting, and it's going to add a little bit of like of complexity to even just her as a person, because she just went off on this spiel of like, if they don't know anything, you letting them know your life is going to cause a lot of risk if they don't know how to protect themselves. And while she's aware that he was a part of the military, she's not sure how he would be able to protect himself against the supernatural, which could cause some problems for her later down the line if she does choose to get more involved with him. And then on top of that, she still does have those in her mind, kind of like very complicated feelings about Arthur, because she's got a lot of things that are on her mind when talking about, or when thinking about him and like talking about him, and their dynamic just got that much more intense and interesting.
Yeah, what sort of complicated feelings you got?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
The thing is, you touched right on what I was thinking, by the way, Legacy, and so everyone can know. I thought it was interesting for Scott's perspective that, like, right after Rosanna chews into Arthur about trying to have a relationship while in this life, she then goes and has one.
Well, and in her eyes, that was purely a physical thing. Because, well, no, because
that's where the came from.
Because in her eyes, they could have gone into this and died, and that's what she was preparing for. She specifically called out, we aren't guaranteed, basically, that we're not guaranteed a tomorrow. And Arthur was the one that pushed her to just get it over with in the first place. Notice how he goes quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, yes, always.
And it might be a little
Absolutely.
like leading. Does this like perspective of like when you let someone into the world of like of being a hunter, like it's like the argument keeps going back and forth with like Quiet and also with Katy Lynn of like, do you let them know and make it so that they know what they're up against, or do you protect them being like, oh, by not telling you, then you're fair game not to be attacked, I guess. Like, does that mean it kind of like, it's kind of grim that it kind of makes it that no hunter is going to ever have a happy ending as far as like a relationship is concerned?
Well, welcome to the world of darkness. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, yeah.
Well,
okay, I'll Legacy, share your perspective, because I think I've shared it before, but I'll share it for Clara here. But you go ahead and share your perspective.
no, you go first.
Oh, well, I was going to say that hunter thing that you're describing, like the hunters never having a happy life, is actually what is touched on in my favorite book, but one of the worst movies ever made, is John Stakely's Vampire, which became John Carpenter's Vampires. In the book that John Stakely wrote, and I talked about this on a previous After Dawn episode at some point in the past, but in that book, the hunters hunt because they become aware that there are monsters, and because they actually care about humanity, they have to, because who else is going to stand up against these things knowing that they exist except for these people who now know that they exist. And one of the main characters, when he finds out that monsters are real, his first reaction is to look at the guys that are trying to recruit him to their team and say, fuck all of you, because now he has to fight and he doesn't get to have a happy ending. And that's how I look at like Hunter in a lot of ways, because once the hunters know the world of darkness is a thing, it's how do you try to have a normal life knowing that, like, just around the corner, that person in the grocery store, that old lady in the grocery store could be a mage. Just could be a mage. Or that random guy walking down the street could be a vampire, you know?
I guess that makes it so like the ideal circumstance for Arthur at least is the like maybe Katy Lynn finds out on her own.
Yeah, so that's the exact reason why Arthur has been trying very hard not to talk to her in a way that makes her think something's up, right? He's been trying very hard not to share anything with her and keep her safe from that knowledge, because it friggin' sucks. Mm-hmm. And that's why he's been running the way that he's run the whole time.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of it too is, and we touched upon this, like when Scott and I sat down, and so originally that conversation that Arthur and Rosanna had on stream wasn't going to be a conversation that we were going to record. It was just something that we had talked about, And when we were talking about like what they were discussing over dinner, I had made the point of like, if we date within the hunter world, there is an already set a set like predisposition of like there is a non-zero chance that one of us could die at any point. And that's the risk that you're willing to take if you're dating within the hunter, like the hunter world. If you're bringing in if you're bringing in like an innocent person into all of this, there is always going to be that lingering thought of either I'm going to die and they're going to have to find out the hard way, or they're going to die and I'm going to have to find out the hard way. Which is which just makes it more of a calculated risk of, okay, well then do you want to risk them now being in more direct danger because you want to be a part of their life, or you want to date them, which is something that now both Rosanna and Arthur are struggling with.
I'm very excited for Arthur and Katy's conversation about the same thing. Or lack thereof, because like I have my own thoughts on it, and like because the question is all the only thing I guess I will put into that if people were interested on about that is a lot of decisions are being made on behalf of Katy Lynn.
Yep.
Yep.
So
I think we all know that.
Yeah.
So it's sort of that like, cool, she's now played by a person who gets to make their own decisions, which, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's totally not like a TV show trope that we see all the time.
Correct. Yeah, Arthur's just a TV trope. Let's be real.
Tropes are good for they're there for a reason.
Yeah, that is true.
That's why
As much as I was just gonna say,
You
as
go
much as I
ahead.
hate that the plot lines of 90% of romantic comedies is one person went to say something to someone and they got cut off, and so the rest of the movie revolves around them just not saying the thing that they were supposed to say that make it all better. That is how Arthur runs his life.
We love it.
Bless.
So I have one final question before we start really spilling the tea.
So much tea right now.
Was this
Yeah,
not spilling the
there's-
tea?
This isn't even us spilling the tea
Yeah,
yet.
this is just spilling a little bit. We're just gonna dump entire like Gatorade.
Gatorade bottles of tea.
Gonna start a
Yeah.
revolution over here. Okay.
Yep.
Let's go.
If you could take one thing that your character has said, what would it be?
Oh shit.
Jesus, you sure this isn't tea? Jesus Christ. Come at my throat, why don't you? Anyway, I'll let Rosanna answer.
No, I'm gonna let Arthur answer first.
No, I'm gonna let Rosanna answer.
No, I insist.
I insist. You can go first. I've led most of the conversation. I think it's your turn.
Oh God. Okay. Geez. There's so like the thing is that I actually don't regret anything Arthur has said. Because so in order to, like I've said this before, in order to play Arthur, I have to do what I would do, like think of what I would do and then do the exact opposite. And so what would there be anything that I would want Arthur to take back? No. There are some scenes that I wish I had done a little bit smoother that I didn't quite do as smoothly as I had hoped I would have. And some part of it is the fact that like I don't have 3 dots in some things that Arthur might have 3 dots in and should be able to do. So there's some smoothness that I wish I had like ruffled out some of his feathers a little bit, like made him look a little nicer. But otherwise, I don't know that I would take anything back. Because I think that the progression of story has been fun for me, even as much as it sucks. Though I do say that there was some between season things that I wish I had done that I didn't realize should have been done at the time because I had different expectations and thoughts. So there's some things that I wish I could have done, but I'm not gonna like sit on them and be angry about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's now finally time to properly
no
get
Rosanna,
into
huh?
the-
No Rosanna.
No, I got
Just
skip it over her.
No, I want to know. I
skip
want to
over-
know.
No, okay.
So I personally, playing Rosanna, everything that I say, with the exception of a couple of slip ups that might have happened because my mouth. My mouth is a lot dirtier than my mind.
Boner phones.
I'll never live it down.
Phone.
I'll never live that one down, and then I'll never live one slip that I did from draining the swamp down. But we're not going to talk about that one. I personally have no regrets about anything that Rosanna has said, because in my mind, a lot of the ways that Rosanna reacts to specific situations, it is something that lines up mechanically and just like personality wise, that, you know, the way that I've kind of built her out over the last 2 seasons. So her, on the other hand, she's got a lot of things that like she regrets either saying too fast or not saying at all. Or maybe letting slip out, you know, like there are definitely things that go through her mind of just like, I wish I hadn't said that now, because now I think I just ruined something that was perfectly quote unquote normal. She might have some regrets of letting her emotions take control of specific conversations that her and Arthur might have had. But now those are out in the open, and now she just kind of has to let him come to her with thoughts and questions and stuff, because now she's a little bit more guarded about her emotional state, especially around him.
Okay, very fair.
Yeah.
Now, I think is the proper time to really get into spilling the tea.
Oh,
The section's freeform, so we can go. So we have some questions, but if you all have questions for each other or for us, feel free to ask them.
I mean, I think I already mentioned the thing that I was saying, that like personally I was like, so how could Rosanna go chew Arthur out about relationships and then go get into one? But I think we already
she's not
covered that one.
she's not in a relationship
Yet.
Sure.
She's-
Mr. goes out to buy the things that she likes specifically, and then
that was not Rosanna's fault. I'd like to point that out. That was not Rosanna's fault.
I actually have a question for Scott.
of course you do.
Arthur,
I would expect nothing less.
of course. Arthur told one of his other wives that he was thinking about staying, but has also talked to Rosanna about the danger if he stays. Has he thought any more about what he's actually going to do?
He has. In fact, there's an entire journal entry about it.
Ooh.
In my journal, in Arthur's journal. He absolutely has. And it's that conversation, Indy, if you are watching this on the Patreon, then, or at some point you will have seen the behind the scenes. I was not expecting to talk to another of Arthur's wives. I was not expecting that because Clara wasn't available, and so I was like, all right, I'm gonna just get to have that conversation, have conversations with the wives later. Yeah, just avoid that. And I had this whole plan of Arthur just kind of staring off at the field while he thought through everything that Rosanna had said, and then all of a sudden, here comes Julia, wife number 6 or whatever the hell she was, and like confronts Arthur specifically about these things, and like tells him stuff that he didn't know, because I know a lot of things. Arthur does not know many things. Like I know all about Quiet and Rosanna. Arthur, no clue, none, zero context, aside from running into them in the RV. That's it. So he has actually thought about it, and he has kind of come to a decision. However, I will put this out there that the things that the way that I'm thinking for Arthur, this is me and Arthur having disagreements. Arthur's plan for what he wants to do is not necessarily good for anybody, and it also is based on how certain people react. So I have in my mind planned to change the plan depending on the certain conversations that happen before he enacts the plan. And so that's part of what's happening. So I have an idea on what Arthur wants to do, but he's also doing that thing that Arthur does where he hides stuff from everybody, because he just doesn't tell people things because he thinks that's safer for them.
Not responding to you in your journal is like the hardest part of this.
Yeah, giving access to you, that's why I had to like message BP directly, because I was like, I know some people can see this, and I just want to make it a surprise for them because I want them to react in the moment of things, you know. So I'm not trying to hide anything from anyone. I just want it to be genuine reactions to stuff. But yeah, so Arthur does have a plan, but Arthur's plan will change depending on how certain people react. So I have like alternate plans. So there's like 3 or 4 plans in my mind, because that's how I work as a Scott. Arthur, on the other hand, has a single mind, and he's doing it wrong. And I'll tell you that right now.
Perfect.
Personally. Yep.
Okay, so I have a weird question for, I guess, Legacy, because I've talked about this with Scott a little bit.
Mhm.
Like,
Okay.
in a TV show, I do feel like if you're watching this on, like, let's say this is like a weird CW show, right?
Gross.
This is,
Oh.
we're playing Supernatural.
Hey, listen, I love CW shows. Most of
Oh,
them.
I know.
But
We
it's-
have a whole 5-minute offhand conversation about it.
But like,
Uh-huh.
it is the flavor of trash that all TTRPGs kind of are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everyone's like unreasonably hot and also played by 30-year-olds.
Yep.
But like
Yep,
to
yep,
that
yep.
end, it's hard for me now that I'm an SPC versus like just watching it, to be like, to look at it and be like, oh, clearly they're walking us toward Rosanna and Arthur being endgame or whatever. And I'm like, I've talked to Scott about kind of where he what he kind of wants to do. I'm here to react to stuff more than anything else, and also just drive tiny splinters into Arthur's
Mhm.
life. But like on your end, both in and out of character, is that like, do you have a ship?
I would love to share my thoughts about Rosanna's love life. Here's the thing, right? Rosanna is a very interesting trope that I'm playing. She's this surprisingly open-minded person for being a supernatural hunter. So her whole like I've got a couple of potential ships with her. Not all of them are human.
Whoa.
Ooh.
That's a choice.
Yeah. When BP first brought in the mage, the new mage that's helping us with that plan.
Mhm.
I played Rosanna in a way that was just completely like infatuated with this. Everything about this woman is just so like, she's got a dragon, she's gorgeous, she can do all this magic, she's helpful, she gave me a gift. She gave me a get out of jail free card. And was in like I had made the joke of so Rosanna and Ophelia, huh? Which also then gave me whiplash because I've played a character named Ophelia in the past, and I was like, I feel
Yeah.
wrong.
Yep. I was feeling the same way.
So what you're saying is you're
I-
feeling
I-
yourself.
I were there and saw it.
But like I've definitely still like still love the Rosanna and Arthur ship, which was to be fair, the Rosanna and Arthur thing was a complete accident.
It was.
Yeah.
It's so like I said, the producer brain in me is like, oh man, we're just walking you to Rosanna Arthur. Like that's how that works. And then like the person who's playing the wife, like the SPC, is like, oh man.
But I've got some thoughts on Rosanna's love life. I've got some thoughts on her sex life now too, apparently. So
Oh my. We all saw the episode. We know.
yeah,
we know.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. But that actually leads me into the question for Scott, and how do you think Arthur is going to begin to kind of internalize that she finally took his advice and quote unquote just got it over with?
So I am not entirely sure that was Arthur's intent when he was talking to her. So I don't know that he would actually understand that he had said that, and so he would be confused. But also at the same time, yeah, he totally did. So I think so. So here's the thing. When Rosanna was like pretty clear about some things in the last couple of episodes, Arthur has changed his focus, so he would be actually kind of happy for her and would hope that she would continue to be happy. That's his new focus because of things that have been happening and things that Rosanna has said to Arthur. So he actually would not be too upset. That's why I said in the previous After Dawn that Arthur actually wasn't jealous when he ran into Quiet the first time. Wasn't. And I was trying not to indicate that he was, because he wasn't. Because he was actually happy for Rosanna to have found someone, considering that she had sort of opened up to him about her lack of relationships in the past. So, yeah. When he finds out about Quiet, it'll be interesting, I think.
All right. Does Katy Lynn want Arthur back even after even after she's seen how he is with Rosanna?
It's okay to
That's so
say no.
mean.
So much hot tea. So much hot tea.
The sad and hard part about all of this is like, again, I do come at this as like an SPC, which means sort of the hand of, I mean, the Katy Lynn is the tool for BP to fuck around with Arthur with, but obviously with a ton of input. The like, I guess the juicy truth is, yeah, Katy Lynn still wants Arthur because all she's wanted this whole time has been to like have a family, settle down, move on, and Arthur being away has put all of that on hold forever, basically, and for no good reason. So like she's willing to hear him out, and there's this level of like Arthur has the, can I say this? I don't know. Arthur has the benefit of like literally it's the advantage of like they are soulmates. Or at least he is her soulmate. I don't quite know how BP has like
I'm not sure
this.
how that works, yeah.
But so I kind of play it as Katy Lynn is as in love with Arthur as Arthur is with her. And so if he is sort of at this like, oh, I'm ready to move on, like she'll get there because that is her soulmate is no longer there for her. But like again, there are a lot of decisions are being made for her, and she's gonna start having opinions about that.
Yep.
But right now she does still want to be with her husband as long as he's like, but like she kind of is asking for that like, hey, can you actually be there then?
Maybe, possibly.
Is that a thing or what? What are we doing right now?
In name only right now, basically.
Right.
just a lot of Arthur being selfish right now.
Yeah, what a dick.
I'm trying so hard also not to have it become this like projecting it onto Rosanna of like, because like that's not fun storytelling, or like, I mean it is, but it's drama, but it's the like, don't be mad at the other woman, be mad at the person who's, you know, cheating on you, because it's not the other woman's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think there is like also a little, like I was joking with someone who was watching the show. They were like, wow, Rosanna, like the way that Legacy wears like costumes for her is like, you know, she has the tree tattoo and such. And it's like, imagine you're just like, you know, you're like this sort of Christian conservative lady, and like this chick walks up with like, huge tits and a tattoo across them and is like, and this is who you've been spending time with. Awesome. Love that for you.
Yikes.
And yeah, like I said, I really do hope that that Katy Lynn and Rosanna get a scene. First of all, because I think it's going to be so fucking juicy. But second, their introduction to one another was just like, Rosanna had a really bad traumatic episode. Okay, now it's time for you to meet my wife, even though you asked not to be involved.
Yeah.
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 And I went into that being like, I'm going to be the fucking nicest person. But because, yeah, it is really easy to lean into the like, I'm going to be a bitch to Rosanna because Rosanna is this other woman. And like the temptation is still there, so it might come out. But like, I just wanted Katy to be like, Katy doesn't have a mean bone in her body.
Plus, it would be inhospitable, right? For her to like be a bitch to someone that she's welcoming into her home.
Pretty much. But like, give her an excuse.
Katy Lynn may not throw hands, but you'll catch them.
Well, and it's that thing of like, what's worse, like the scariest thing is when like a really nice person is finally, it like snaps.
Mm-hmm.
This next episode is going to be very, very I think this might be one of our heavier episodes.
You think?
Maybe just a little bit.
It's not like I have. Good.
Oh, just the like, what do you regret saying, not saying? I regret last week being like, oh yeah, I can totally work late.
Yeah.
My biggest regrets.
That's all right. Katy Lynn was off doing midwifey stuff. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she still has a life.
Yep. A whole ass life. Yeah, no spoilers or anything, but I actually have a list of conversations that Arthur needs to have in the next episode. And I mean, maybe not all of them will get said in the next episode, but yeah, no, it's going to be a heavy episode.
Certainly seems that way.
Yep.
I think it'll be cathartic a little bit because it's a lot of questions that need answering.
We'll see how
Or
characteristic
terrible.
Arthur is. Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or terrible. Arthur doesn't always cope with doesn't cope well with emotional vulnerability or adversity.
Nope, he's bad at that.
Then again, none of the cell is actually great at emotional vulnerability.
It really is like all the SBCs are like here talking about like, hey, you just want to talk about stuff? And they're like, no. I'm like, all right.
No, I don't.
Suffer.
Nope, just hanging out with my weird unemployed friends. It's fine.
Yep.
God, yeah.
Really
There is
love that Rosanna keeps getting called an unemployed friend when I'm pretty sure out of everybody, she's the only one with a job.
In fairness to Katy, at least the uncharitable version of Katy, she's an unemployed thought.
Jesus.
That's as mean as Clara will be mean.
It's all right. Yeah, no, my job was taking care of your husband because he can't take care of himself.
It's true.
That's true though. Like
it is true.
That's just accurate.
Yeah, Arthur does not know how to take care of himself. It's true. He relies heavily on the women in his life, and now he has 3 of them that he rides with, and 1 who's waiting for him to like make the right choice.
It's sad because as a goblin and as like for show purposes, I'm like, make a bad decision, just do it. Do something stupid. I dare you.
Anyone else got any last minute questions that are just burning through their soul?
Clara, are you going to be at the next episode?
Ooh.
Damn.
Yeah, I need to know.
Roasted.
I need to know. I need to know.
You'll find out. No, at the moment, I should be like,
Okay.
I am obsessively looking at my calendar. It is open right now. I'm looking at my calendar, like I'm available, right?
I hope so. It does
Literally,
affect like even the character sheet because I was waiting for information to finish my character sheet.
yeah, no, I'll be there. Literally, there's nothing listed on the calendar. My one of my other families, I guess, we used to have our Happy Jack's Advice show on Fridays, and we've moved it to Sunday because I was like, hey, I have a really good reason to not be around on Friday. Can I have that? Like, yeah, I might be a little late-ish because I have to get in from work and I live in LA, so there's that. But I should be there.
I mean, I stream from my work most days because I have to try to get from work to home at the exact same time.
I should be there. It's that it would be really convenient if it was at the time, if it was 6 p.m. West Coast time.
You're right.
Oh yeah, no, it'd be great.
Yep.
And I'm looking at the other 2 that are not on the West Coast.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Yeah, you're okay playing at midnight, right?
Yeah, you guys are cute. It was real funny. You can tell my day job that I gotta stay up and play. I gotta play some nerd games with my nerd friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Community building.
nerd games to do. Fuck.
Howie HR, I gotta go play Dungeons and Dragons with my friend.
It's really important. I'm in a fake relationship.
For people on the internet to gawk at like a bunch of girl.
If I had a nickel for every time I got married, like I was like married for a plot thing, I would have like 4 nickels, which is like not a ton of money, but it's a statistically significant number in regards to like gaming ideas.
I mean, Arthur and Rosanna are technically married.
Yeah, they
Really?
are 75%.
Sorry, what?
They are 75% married.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait, what
75%.
I think I knew this, but also like can that come up?
Yeah, so
it was
technically
a fake wedding.
we have a common law marriage now.
Hey, Arthur, you want to bring that up?
I don't think
Nope.
he does.
Nope. That is not a thing. Not going to happen, even if pushed.
Don't worry,
It's
don't
not,
worry.
It's not even from the compound, too.
Rosanna will bring it up.
I love the idea of drunk
Ooh.
Rosanna being like, technically we share a husband.
Womp womp.
That'll end really well for
Then
us.
both of them will go down and just curb stomp Arthur together.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever told you that one of my ships is just Katy Lynn and Rosanna are gonna get together out of spite.
What's funny is that's actually one of Clara's ships too.
I was like, there's a world in which that happens. I don't know. It depends. Again, it all sort of depends on Arthur not being a little dumbass.
Yeah, well, quite literally, if he plays his cards right, he could literally have his cake and eat it too.
That's so
Giggity.
true.
Because Rosanna straight up told Arthur that your wife is gorgeous.
Aw.
It's true. That did happen. I was there.
I don't know that we've ever really described like obviously it's my fucking face, but like because now we have to because it's all on the thing. But my brain is like, I don't actually have an idea. I didn't have an idea what Katy Lynn looked like except that she looked like me. I think in and after Dawn, I even say like, I don't think I look like like a Katy Lynn.
Yeah, you did. The first time you were like, I
Yeah,
don't
the
know that
first
I look
time,
like
yeah.
a Katy Lynn. Yeah.
I don't look like I have a 2-part name is really where I'm at.
Sorry for that.
You're fine. That's I guess you're like, it's a weird fun fact about Clara tangent. Because I like was born and raised in LA. The concept of like Midwestern like Americana, like all American, like sweetie or whatever is like exotic to me.
Yep.
Like country music is exotic.
Yep.
I hate that sentence that just came out. Country music is exotic.
I don't. I live in a city center. I grew up in a city center.
Yeah.
Like I literally grew up like downtown LA. I don't know what.
See, that's the thing is,
Oh.
say I was my entire childhood is and most of my life has been on the West Coast, so I totally know, and that's kind of why I went that direction when I developed Arthur's wife, and so that's why she got a double name.
She's exotic.
Katy Lynn is literally the whitest name I've ever heard.
I know.
Yep.
She's
Indeed.
exotic.
Indeed.
Oh,
Jesus
oh my
Like-
God.
Christ.
Let's be honest. That's what I meant when I said I don't think I look like a Katy Lynn. Am I white enough?
White enough? Oh man. All right, this is now after dusk where we're getting into the
gotta
weird
bail.
questions.
I think that is a time for us to all flee from this dumpster fire.
Abort mission.
Oh God.
Oh man, now I'm having fun.
Oh Lord. Thank you all so much for listening. I would like to personally apologize for everything you've had to listen.
Nope.
I don't
I apologize for
apologize.
nothing.
I
I have
stand
no
by this.
regrets. I have no regrets as your co-host. None.
There you go. That's why I have a co-host. Someone to regret and someone to not. Anyway.
We have
Thank you.
witnesses.
Thank you to all the subscribers on our HHS OnlyFans. I really hope you enjoyed this episode of Half Past Midnight.
Yes, if you'd like hot Katy Lynn on Rosanna action, subscribe to our
Jesus.
OnlyFans. Listen. The seal has been popped. We are
Okay.
here now.
Now I fully ship Katy Lynn and Rosanna.
We'll see what
Okay.
happens in the later season.
So
It's for
for
the
everyone who's still listening, these episodes are dropped on Thursdays at noon for the $5 plus tier. On our Patreon, they're released to the public 1 month later. So think about subscribing so you can stay up to date with your talk news for Hallowed Haven Studios. I'm Saul, and again, I apologize.
Vironz. Bye.